Captain's log, stardate 41386.4. We're in pursuit of a starship of Ferengi design. Our mission is to intercept and recover a T9 energy converter which the Ferengi stole from an unmanned monitor post on Gamma Tauri 4. A theft which automatic scanners recorded, providing us with the long-awaited opportunity to make close contact with a Ferengi vessel. If we succeed in this chase, it will be Starfleet's first look at a life form which, discounting rumor, we know almost nothing about.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Pensky File. We are continuing our Let's Watch of Star Trek The Next Generation. This is the Last Outpost, which was episode 5 of season 1. It was directed by Richard Kalla, teleplay by Herbert Wright, and the story credit to Richard Krzemian, I guess is how you pronounce that. It aired October 19th, 1987. So let's get to the breakdown about what this show is all about. The Enterprise is in pursuit of a Ferengi vessel which has stolen an energy converter from an unmanned Federation outpost. While the Ferengi are known to the Federation, this is the first contact with the species, and the Enterprise crew finds the Ferengi appear to be at a similar technology level as themselves. As the chase passes the planet Delpha Ardu 4, both ships suffer from power drains, causing them to come to a halt. The crew of both ships initially believe that the power drain is caused by the other vessel, but Captain Jean-Luc Picard realizes that the Ferengi are as confused as they are and orders the crew to investigate the planet. Operations Officer Lieutenant Commander Data reports that the planet seems to have once been a remote outpost of the Takan Empire that became extinct 600,000 years ago. Picard contacts the Ferengi and gets them to agree to mutually explore the planet below to try to find the source of the energy drain. On the planet, the away team is momentarily separated due to the effects of the energy field on the transporters. They regroup but are attacked and bound by the Ferengi, believing the Enterprise crew is planning an ambush of their own. The away team break free and begin to exchange weapons fire with the Ferengi, but the energy expelled are absorbed by nearby crystalline tree-like objects. Data investigates the tree and awakens an entity that displays itself as a humanoid and calls itself Portal 63, a guardian of the Takan Empire. Portal 63 asks the two groups if they seek to enter the Takan Empire and does not comprehend when it is told that the Takan have long since disappeared. The Ferengi accuse the Enterprise's away team of being a hostile force. Commander William Riker admits that they are hostile to Ferengi, inadvertently confirming humanity to be indeed hostile in the eyes of Portal, who steps forward, appearing ready to attack Riker and claim his species as barbaric. Riker responds with a quote from Sun Tzu, "Fear is the true enemy, the only enemy," while keeping from flinching as the attack comes. Portal accepts this and stands down from the challenge, satisfied that the Federation is civilized and allows the Enterprise to go free. It further offers Riker the opportunity to destroy the Ferengi vessel, but Riker declines on the grounds that the Ferengi will learn nothing from such an action. Both away teams return to their ships with power restored, and the Ferengi return the stolen energy converter. As a means of ironic thanks, Riker suggests sending the Ferengi a box of Chinese finger traps, a toy that had fascinated Data when he becomes stuck in one earlier in the mission. Okay, that's it. So let's go to a little break audio clip, and then we'll come back with our thoughts about this.
Captain's log supplemental. In orbit of a mysterious planet whose unexplained force field has seized us with a power almost beyond imagination. If there is a solution to this, it almost certainly will involve cooperation from the Ferengi.
Alright, and we're back. So that is The Last Outpost, a somewhat brief synopsis of what goes on in this episode. Another early episode, we're obviously only on episode 5 at this point. Going through the directed and teleplay and story credits, Richard Kalla was the first thing to catch my eye. I was wondering if he had directed anything else of the series, and I looked, and he hadn't done anything in season 1. He might come back in season 2, but this might be his only episode. And I only mention that because this is the most uniquely directed episode, I think, that we've seen so far. There are a lot of shots that are not really used all that much in the rest of the show. There's a lot of different angles from the bridge, and there are a lot of tracking shots where Picard or someone sort of walks down in front of the captain's chair and then walks up and around over to Worf's little comm station or whatever the hell it is back there, and the camera tracks him in one shot. And I don't remember the series doing that a lot. And when they actually do finally talk to the Ferengi, the visuals are kind of cool. It's very the Ferengi image of the person on the Ferengi on his ship talking to the Enterprise covers most of the screen, and Picard is sort of superimposed on top of it, making him appear small, and the Ferengi appear very large, and you get a close-up of their sharp teeth and gnashing mouths and all that nonsense. we'll get to the Ferengi in a little bit later, but we'll go on with the rest of what I thought of the episode. I mean, the episode's really just famous for being the first appearance of the Ferengi, which is a little bit lackluster, obviously. It doesn't go quite as planned, I would think, as how they wanted to introduce these people. So again, we're stuck with the weird thing that the Federation has talked about the Ferengi before, and they sort of fear them in a weird way. In the pilot, I think they were mentioned, where the Ferengi are mentioned as cannibals who will eat you if you screw them over in business or something. So they're mentioned in this sort of menacing manner about how they're supposed to be really incredibly dangerous, and the Federation doesn't know them. They when they track down the Ferengi ship at the start of this episode, they mention how they've never seen it before. They're impressed by its technological level. They don't know anything about them. They don't know if the planet force field that's holding them is some kind of Ferengi weapon. So we're supposed to be blown away that this is first contact. There's a whole lot of build up to it where you don't actually see the Ferengi. You talk to them first. You hear them only audio as they're talking to the Enterprise. And then the Picard insists on talking face to face. And then you get your first view of the big-eared, sharp-teethed Ferengi captain, Damon Tar or something like that, who's on his Ferengi ship. And they, I think they did the Ferengi okay introducing them. They're a little silly. Then Data mentions it feels out of place in what they were trying to do. So they're fearful of the Ferengi this entire time. And then Picard asks Data what he knows about the Ferengi. And Data says that they are basically like, I forget, what the hell does he call them? He calls them like merchant, the hell is it? He calls them some kind of like merchants from the 18th century or something. Oh, this is killing me. I should have looked it up. But he basically refers to them as like hostile traders and the worst of capitalism. And that is before you really interact with them. So it's kind of a jarring description. You've been leading up to these Ferengi supposed to be incredibly intimidating and everything. And then the sort of B-roll description of what they are is that they are capitalists, basically. And that is indeed what they turn out to be. So... there's the normal thing. It's an early episode. It moves incredibly slowly. So the first bit is trying to figure out if they can get away from the force field. Geordi comes up with an idea, and very excitedly sort of high fives Riker when he comes up with this, that he's going to put all the energy into the warp engines and they'll shoot out of there. They try it. It doesn't work. That takes probably 20 minutes of the first 20 minutes of the show is dealing with this thing that doesn't work. They decide to go down to the planet and they meet Portal and the Ferengi down there in a very stagey looking silly area of this planet where there's like crystal rocks jutting out of the surface, and we meet the Takan. And so this is, in my opinion, the episode's really about the Ferengi, so that's all I'm going to talk about, I think, in this episode. The Ferengi seemed okay early on when you meet them on the visual thing. They're sort of intimidating. They have a certain hiss to their voice. They're not particularly scary looking, right? They're kind of odd looking, I guess, and somewhat intimidating. They have sharp teeth and they gnash and yell things and call people hu-mons. But other than that, they seem okay. It's shot, I think the direction helps the episode a lot. The way it's shot with the giant image of the Ferengi and Picard, very small in front of it, sort of helps to that. I think that the way the director, this Richard Kalla, handled things is probably the best that they can. Unfortunately, whatever decision they did after this point where they wanted to reveal what the Ferengi actually look like is a complete and utter disaster. When you get down to the planets and you meet the Ferengi, they're basically like little goblins these guys were designed to be the new villain of the series. Roddenberry didn't want to repeat the Romulan and Klingon stuff, so it was part of the Star Trek Bible, which is like the book that the writers are given, and it tells sort of like the facts about the universe of Star Trek. And the Star Trek Bible is famous for being enormous. But in the Bible, Roddenberry wrote that he didn't want the Romulan and Klingon trouble, so they had to come up with a new enemy. And Roddenberry and some other writer, came up with the Ferengi as an idea. And again, it works fine in the beginning. And then when we go down and actually see them, they're incredibly stupid looking. And I find them very obnoxious. I find them like super annoying to watch Ferengi be acted out. Because they basically look like little annoying goblins. They're very like jittery and sort of like hunched over and sort of leaping around like cats onto different things. And I find them incredibly obnoxious. They sort of toned it down as the series went on. In Deep Space Nine, they toned them down even more because it would have been unbearable. And a small bit of trivia, but the actor who plays Quark in Deep Space Nine, Armin Shimmerman, I think his name is. Yes, Armin Shimmerman, plays one of the Ferengi on the ground. So he would come back in a bigger and better way. I still find the Ferengi annoying later on in Deep Space Nine, but they tone them down a little bit. But here, they're horribly annoying. They have these bizarre whip weapons that it's basically a little blue, like plastic, the little like toy that you play in a pool with. It's like a noodle or something. And they flip it and it shoots energy out and hits people. And they run around like crazy. They're very annoying when they talk. And Portal, who's basically a holdover from the original series, he's that kind of like godlike being. Roddenberry seemed obsessed with godlike beings. He loved Q and he loves these Portal type characters. Because Roddenberry, for all the show, talks about it being, everyone's sort of equal and like humanity and everything is good and this is the best we have. The show really is sort of a very racist look at how humans are superior to basically every other being that they come across and how great they are and how great humanity is. So they meet this Portal, who is the old original series idea of just like a godlike entity that humanity can somehow teach to be better than what he thinks he is, or they can explain something that this powerful being can't possibly comprehend. So Portal goes down there, and Riker has a bit of nonsense about, he quotes Sun Tzu, and then Portal attacks him, and he doesn't flinch. And that apparently just convinces Portal that humanity is good, and the Ferengi are bad. And the Ferengi lament this. They try to convince him by hissing and being generally annoying that no, the humans are there. Humans are fault. They're barbaric. They clothe their women, which is a running kind of theme for the Ferengi. The Ferengi females are supposed to be naked. Oh, they're such an unlikable group of people. And then Portal basically struts along the planet with Riker. They share a beer. They might as well share a beer and just talk about ladies they've had in bed and all that good stuff. And Riker takes off, shakes his hand. And I don't know if the guy's hand was sweaty, the actor or something, but Riker noticeably gives a little wipe. I thought I noticed that at the end of that scene. So who knows what was going on there. And outside of that, Riker beams back. The Ferengi go on their way. And there's a little bit of the Chinese finger trap nonsense, which is a pretty useless little story. Although, watching this in the high-definition Blu-ray, I noticed that when Data gets his finger stuck in the Chinese finger trap, when he finally gets it out, it wipes the makeup off his finger, which is interesting. So he has a human-colored finger instead of his standard glittery silver finger. But what are you going to do? It's first season jitters, and you probably couldn't see it in the original definition broadcast. I haven't compared, but I assume. The new Blu-rays, I don't have the Blu-rays, but it's on Amazon streaming. I highly recommend watching it because it makes things look a lot better, especially the spaceships. They look very sharp. Anything that deals with energy or spaceships look nice. So yeah, that's this silly episode. It's not a good episode. It's another bad one. The Ferengi are stupid. They would eventually be replaced by the Borg, who are a much, much better villain for the series. The Ferengi go on to comic relief roles. They appear one other time, I think, in Season 1, in the battle, which is probably 2 or 3 episodes from now, because they explain some of Picard's backstory. But yeah, they are a failed experiment. I don't really understand it. The director sort of saved their presentation early, did the best he could, but the way they decided to cast and make up these guys makes them look idiotic, and they highly annoy at least me. I think they annoy pretty much everybody. They have an annoying way of talking. They move very annoyingly, and they are not fearful at all. They are more just annoying, which is not something you want to go for when you're going to create an adversary for a series role. So yeah, that's the Last Outpost of Star Trek, which best part of the episode, the direction. The direction was very good. Worst part of the episode is the Ferengi. They would continue to be bad. And the plot is incredibly stupid as well. It continues this original series thing of nothing happens at all in any of these episodes. Honestly, the first 20 minutes is a failed attempt to fix it. Then they go down, and then it's 30 minutes of people standing around yelling nonsense at each other while annoying people with giant ears dance around them. So yeah, skip. It's a skippable one. It's good for canon, I guess, just to see the appearance of the Ferengi. But outside of that, not something I would recommend. Cool. So what are we going to do next? What's the next one? Where No One Has Gone Before. Yeah, so we'll have Where No One Has Gone Before. I think that's a little bit better, if I'm remembering right. I think that's generally seen as one of the better first season episodes. I might be wrong. I'll have to review the Star Trek Reddit and review the actual episode and see what I think and come back with those thoughts. But thank you guys for watching or listening, whatever. This is there's no video for these, just me talking, so I appreciate that. I'd like to get someone else in on Where No One Has Gone Before. Maybe I'll ask the wife or something to join me in talking to this microphone. She does not like Star Trek, so I don't know how well that would go over. Not that she doesn't like, well, it's one of those things she pretends to like it, I think, more than she actually likes it. I don't know why. She's not sparing my feelings. But we'll see if she wants to come in. And other than that, I appreciate you guys listening. If you could, if you leave a like or a comment or whatever, that'd be cool too. The likes are always something that makes my penis swell with pride. And it's nice to look through my little YouTube analytics when I'm sitting on the T to go home, and I can I can sort through everything on my little iPhone and amuse myself by looking at the video statistics. And I like to see likes, and it's very helpful to me. And it's nice to know that people are watching. So thank you guys for watching, and I will be back in a couple days with Where No One Has Gone Before. Thanks. See ya.